What's up traders, this is Marco. We have Friday the 8th of September. I have another bar by bar for you today, and you can see in front of you the 2000 tick ES chart, and the only indicator that I'm using is the 21 EMA, which is this pink line here. I'm trading with the Ninjatrader trading platform, and I'm using pure price action to find daily setups on the S&P 500 with the ES future here. And this is what I see. Prices have been dropping during the overnight below the EMA, finding some support here, and now finding more strength, pushing above the EMA and forming this shorter term uptrend channel here. And we are pushing back to the EMA and forming a first entry long, not a second entry yet, and now it starts to look congestive, so nothing to take here. We're forming this range, and this is the market opening. You can see this by the change of color, and I'm drawing this range here. This is the first break of this shorter term uptrend channel here, so I'm expecting a retest of the high around this level here. So still I'm looking for long entries right off the key entry point, which can be the channel line or the EMA here. But this is congestion right now, and I don't like to enter in such a very small range. So I'm just waiting, and we're getting our retest right now. So this shorter term channel here could be played out by now. And you can see prices are pushing strongly higher again, and we can't even pull back to the EMA. So that shows me in general that the bias is to the upside, and the next interesting level will be around this overnight highs here, because if we approach to this level and prices can break through it, then that means that prices can continue most likely higher. Yeah, and we are forming this shorter term uptrend channel here. You can see this is fitting pretty well. Getting a break here, already retest at the highs, and you can see we are finding some resistance at the overnight highs here, because we are pulling back with a very strong bearish candle and trying to test it one more time, but we are not succeeding here. So I would expect prices to drop now. We are getting a pullback to the EMA, and now something very interesting is happening. We see a second entry long here. You can see prices made a new high here. First entry, pull back, second entry with a very nice strong bullish bar, and this bar has only 8 ticks. This is something to take, because still you can see prices are pushing higher, and also if you draw this here, there could be some potential bigger uptrend here in play, and also there is space to the last highs that were made overnight. So we have some aligning factors here. Also notice there is a double test of this level. Prices tested this level here first time, and this is the second time. So there are a couple of reasons why to like this second entry here. And prices trigger you into the trade, and you would be out of the trade already. This is also a trade that I took live today. I got in here on this level, and then unfortunately my runner got stopped, because we found some resistance at this level here, and prices really could not push through this. You can see the very strong rejection here, prices getting rejected of the overnight highs and pulling back here. So that shows me that there is some importance to this level, and we must be careful now, because this starts looking like a range now. There is a higher low here. I think you cannot take this because it's too close to the highs here, and you can see prices got rejected by this level like very strongly. This bearish candle is huge. It has like 13 ticks. So taking a long here after this rejection, I think you cannot do this, and there's not enough space also to scalp out. So really no option here for a long trade. Then we're getting a lower high, but it's in the middle. So I start to draw this range here, so you can see this better. We're having a range working here. Right now it's pretty unclear because you can see we had this uptrend with a break new high. Also this uptrend here had a break new high, and this bigger uptrend channel here also got a break and also a new high. So technically all our uptrends played out, and we find some very strong resistance at the overnight highs. So really at this point, I'm just waiting and see what's going on, because the bias is not very clear. We're moving within this range in overnight highs. Then we're getting this bearish bar here, but it's in the middle of the range, and there is like the midline, there's the EMA. If we saw some lower high closer to this level here with a smaller candle, then I really would like to try taking a short here. But yeah, here in the middle of the range, I think it's not a good place to take a short. Breaking this range, maybe we can also draw this shorter term channel here. Breaking the range to the low side. Breaking the shorter term channel, making a new low. So this shorter term channel played out, and we're coming back inside the range. And now look what's happening. We are pushing strongly above the EMA and strongly above the last highs that were made here. So prices took some time to gather strength and now pushing strongly higher here. So there could be a second leg in the same size of what we see here. But right now we are speculating for longs because the bias is still to the upside. We're ignoring here the resistance now after a couple of tests and pushing strongly above it. So there is a sign that something has changed. Maybe even if you draw a channel from, let's say, this level here and connect it with the last swings, then we get a channel like this here. I remove this because this played out, so you can see it a bit better here. And you can see prices are pushing higher here. We're pulling back to the EMA and waiting for a potential second entry long, but we're not getting anything. Price is just getting support here around this level. Also noticed the overnight highs now providing some support to this push higher here. So that shows me that we're going higher here. Forming higher here, higher low, higher low again. But I cannot enter that far away from the EMA. I would like to see prices pulling back to the EMA at least and forming some nice setup. But just taking here a trade at the higher low into like unknown territory, because we are just pushing higher here for the first time. There was no price action during the overnight, so taking a long trade into highs that were never made before on this day, I think this is too risky. So I would like to wait ideally for a pullback to the EMA and then take a trade. And we are pushing higher and higher here. For us, nothing to do. We just have to sit on our hands and wait prices to come back to our key entry point. And now we can see prices are approaching our key entry point here, which is the EMA and the trend channel. We're breaking the shorter term channel for the first time. So we are waiting for a retest, and we get our retest here. And now you can see this looks congestive here. There are like 3 or more bars stacked up side by side. And also we are not pushing above the EMA anymore. We are like going higher here. We are not reaching the resistance of this channel. We're stopping earlier. So this area here is uncovered. So we're stopping and going lower here. So by now we can imagine that what prices made short up here, they will break it to the other side because prices are losing steam here. So I don't want to take long, especially we're under the EMA where prices were above the EMA all the time before, but now we're pushing below the EMA and we cannot break higher again. So that's usually a sign that prices are losing steam, and we must be careful that a potential break of our uptrend is ahead. And here we get our break, a very strong break. Can even draw this legs here. So this is a 2-leg break here. First leg, pull back, second leg. Taking a short here, I think, is a bit too early. Also, if you draw, for example, this trend channel here, I think it's a bit too early taking a short here after such a strong uptrend. I would like to see ideally a bit more confirmation that we are going lower here. And don't forget, after a break of an uptrend, we still wait for a retest of the highs. So our bias is still long. So taking a short here, even on the second entry short, I think is a bit too early. Also, this looks congestive here. These bars are pretty much dojis. If you try this trade, I think it would have worked for 4 ticks, but for more, I think not. So waiting here. Our shorter term channel here in blue is getting the first break. So I want to see a retest of the lows. Now we get our retest. No setup here. Really, this is a first entry. Then the second entry comes here. Signal bias to bad. Then we're getting our retest. So this channel here played out. And now we're going sideways a bit. Let me remove this so you can see it a bit better. Pushing higher here. We cannot break above the EMA. You can see here prices try but get rejected. Prices try, get rejected. Prices try and get rejected. And maybe now finally there is a higher low, pushing higher again. So we can draw this here, shorter term channel. And in general, I think this looks like a range here because we're going back and forth between the EMA all the time. That's an indication for a range here. First entry. So that could be a second entry long here, but this is right into the highs here. I mean, if you pull this a bit higher or even to this level here, then there is a big maybe, but also this is congestion and this bar here is flying a bit too far above the EMA. If this bar finished at the EMA, then I think I would try taking a long trade here just because we have this uptrend working here, break, retest of the high is outstanding, and also we want to see a retest of the high of our bigger uptrend here. But this far away, I think better to skip. And we're working higher here and finding some resistance around this level. So maybe the range is finishing here. I will extend this because we have some tests of this level previous already. Going high here, finding some rejection and going now the other side again. So maybe there is some channel working lower here. And this is interesting now because prices made this high here. First entry long, second entry long. So there could be a potential second entry long failure here, because you can see prices are pushing lower, forming this channel here, which is confirmed by this bar, but also there's the same problem as we had before. This looks congestive here. I mean, this is a confirmation that prices want to go lower because it's forming a lower high after such a drop lower, little pullback. So there is a potential second leg going down. But in general, like these 3-4 bars look congestive here. And yeah, to count this, I mean, technically from the count, it could be a failed second entry long, but this leg here is so small in short compared to this leg here that you can't really call it a failure. So I would like to wait for more confirmation. And we are getting a pullback here now. So if you place a trade one tick below this bar here, then there is a chance that all the longs that are coming into here after this drop lower here are getting trapped. But yeah, in general, this area is very congestive. So personally, I'm not sure what to do here on this bar. Maybe it's 8 ticks, but it's right into the midline here. But also this shorter term channel is intact. So there could be a break and a retest. So really hard to say. Whenever we are not sure, we're skipping. But if you are a more aggressive trader, then this could be a setup for you. From the count, it's a failure. Just from the visual part, I don't like this failure. Then I would prefer entering here. This is also then the first break of this channel. But you can see this is all very like tight here because we had a break and potential retest already. So yeah, I'm not sure. So maybe there's also some resistance here. As I said, if you're like more aggressive, you can consider. I will not mark it here, but I find it important to discuss the setup here. Going lower here. So this trade or this trade short would have worked, but yeah, I was not sure. And whenever this is the case, then I simply wait for better setups. And we are approaching the range low here and finding support. This is interesting. So this shorter term channel broke and had a retest. So this played out. So maybe we get some potential long setup here. We get a higher low, and yeah, I really like this bar. It has 10 ticks and it's finishing perfectly on its top. There's not too much space back to the EMA, but the role of an EMA within a range is not that important because you can see the EMA is flat. Prices go back and forth, go above, go under all the time. So I don't want to say ignore the EMA, but in ranges, the EMA is not that important. So I think I want to try this higher low with a very nice bullish bar here. Back inside the range, there is enough space to the midline and even more space to the highs. And also the shorter term channel here broke and have a new low in place already. So from the context, I must say I like it. And also the signal bar is very nice. So I would try a long trade here and this works perfectly. Then we get another higher low here, but I would not enter here anymore because this is too close to the highs. And this bar is also huge with 12 ticks and you enter so far above the midline here and the EMA, a potential minor key entry point. So if this was closer, then maybe, but yeah, this higher low I really like. This moves a bit too far and the bar is too big. So skipping this, finding some resistance here and dropping lower. Can see shorter term channel working lower here, having a break, potential retest. This support level of this range is holding for now, but now we are pushing lower. So this shorter term channel also played out with a break, new low. If you want, you can try to trade a failed breakout here, but the problem right now is you can see prices are breaking not to the top side of the range, but we are breaking to the low side. We have a break here. Okay, prices came back in, then got resistance here and going lower, finding some support, forming higher low, going back here. But you can see prices are losing steam. We cannot reach the range top here. We're like stopping before, and look at these bars here. Prices get rejected before our range top here with very strong bearish bars. They're finishing almost perfectly on its low here. So that shows like there's some serious selling coming in. Then we're finding some support here, but not really as before, because when prices approached this level before, we got a rejection here. But now look, prices form this congestion, pulling higher, but we cannot make it above the midline. So really prices are losing steam here and now breaking the range and making a new low here. So before we had this low, then prices were retesting this low here, and now we have a new low in place. So taking a long here, I think, is too risky, because the overall bias is switching over from the bullish context to the more bearish context. I mean, we're still in this range, but within this range, you can see that prices cannot reach the top anymore. And in a healthy range, you want to see prices going back and forth between the range all the time. But here we're losing steam. We cannot reach the top and going lower. Then we cannot make it above the midline. And you can see this very strong bearish bars here going lower. So I would not take a failed breakout here. Even this is like very tempting. The bar is not perfect here. But as I said, we're making a new low here. So there could be a potential that this uptrend here played out already. We had this break, two potential legs up, not a new high here, but a retest. So this uptrend could be played out already, and now prices reverse a bit or continue sideways. That's it for today's trading day. You can see not too much price action. I went into a bit more detail today, discussed a couple of setups, more details. So I hope you like it. Please like the video and subscribe, and really check out our homepage topicktrading.com if you want to learn price action and how to read the chart and how to find setups the way I do with pure price action. Check out our homepage. There is a course and also an introduction. And yeah, that's it from my side for this week. Have a good weekend and speak to you next week.